I really believe the 2 wins will potentially work against Alex in this fight. I think that he doesn't have enough cage experience. I know he's got some good wins in the cage. I don't think he has enough cage experience. It's starting to feel like home, but I don't think it feels like home like Izzy's home. This thing feels like it's his castle. He walks into that cage and he realizes, this is my home. If you want this thing, you're going to have to kill me to get it. And I think that he feels so comfortable within the confinements of that cage. I don't know if Alex has the tools. I know he's got the weapons in terms of the power, the kickboxing. He's got those. I don't know if he has enough experience to get that thing done against someone who's been in there that many times and had success.
I agree with you 100%. And this is the breakdown of it. And people are going to say, but Alex has knocked him out before. You're right. I know he has. I've watched the fight too many times. But that's kickboxing. And here's just as quick as I can say it. If you get into a clinch in kickboxing, especially Glory, it is immediate. The referee's coming in and separating you. Well, they're going to get into a clinch in here. And Izzy works very well in the clinch in MMA. And no one's going to be separating him for quite a while, if it even happens, based upon the activity of what's going on. This is not a kickboxing match, and people need to figure this out. Yes, Alex has wins over Izzy. He knocked him out, all that stuff. That was in a different sport. And when you're taking a look at Israel Adesanya and what he's done in MMA, he's been fantastic. Now, he's had some great fights where he looked just incredible. And he's had some fights where he did not look good at all. He was not exciting at all. It was not what the buildup brought you and you thought you were going to get. It fizzled. It was a dud. But he got the win. And he's a very smart fighter when it comes to MMA. And the fact that he has all of these tools to use, and if you're going to take a look, Izzy is very good with his defensive wrestling. He's not going to really have to worry about it too much, I don't think, with Alex Pereira, but his offensive wrestling's not bad either. He can take somebody down if he wants, and I think he's going to try to mix it up a little bit to just at least make Pereira realize, hey, this isn't kickboxing. I will put you on your back, and I will try to work in that position to damage you. And it's not like Alex is going to be a guy that is, throwing up submissions. He's not going to be dangerous off of his back. The best that he can do off of his back is one of two things. Try to throw strikes, throw punches, throw elbows, or try to get yourself back to your feet so you can use that power that you have, and he does have power. I don't think this is going to be the fight that most people believe it's going to be. I think most people believe it's going to be this kickboxing match back and forth. I don't see it. I think Izzy is too smart. I think his coach, Berriman, is too smart. They understand who they're up against. They understand the strength of Pereira, and they understand I have too many variables that I can use in this form of fighting compared to what we were using when we were kickboxing. And it's not like there's a giant difference between the two in the kickboxing. Josh, anybody can get knocked out in a boxing match, in a kickboxing match, in an MMA fight. It can happen. All it takes is one shot placed in the right spot, and it happens. Do I think it's going to be on Izzy's mind? No. He's been there too many times. He's had too many professional fights to let that bother him. The guy's a champion for a reason. Intellectually, fight IQ-wise, he's very smart. He may not always be exciting, but I'll tell you what, he knows what he's doing and he knows what he wants to do in that cage. And many times he is exciting. I'm not too sure, again, if this is going to be one of those exciting fights. I think he's going to slow this fight down. And I think that's a smart way of him beating Alex Pereira in this MMA matchup. We're going to see, but, I look at it, everyone's jumping on this whole thing that, Alex has knocked him out and he's going to be able to do it 4-ounce gloves. It doesn't work that way.
John, this is for Pereira, right, there's a lot of things he needs to consider, and this is what you were talking about. He needs to consider that Izzy may try to get a takedown. Doesn't mean he's going to shoot a double leg. Doesn't mean he's going to press him to the fence and drop down on the legs and try to lift him and take him down. It means that he's going to try to get him maybe potentially in the clinch, try to just suck a leg out, break his balance, and maybe try to push his head down. Foot sweeps, all of those little things in a Muay Thai type clinch. The other thing that that Izzy's hasn't had to really deal with, that people kind of forget how John Jones got away with for so long. He's never had to really fight someone his size.
Yes.
Pereira's the same size as Izzy. Normally people are a lot smaller. Normally people are a lot smaller than Izzy, like shorter in stature or not quite as long, all of those things. That's going to play a factor. You go back to the first fight with Gus and John Jones. That became a problem because John was always so used to just putting his palm out there and like big brother in you.
Yep.
Yeah, just putting his hand on your forehead and you couldn't hit him because he was so long. He had a hard time in that fight. Now later on he came back and got rid of Gus, pretty early in the second fight. But in that first fight, he was really going through some adversity in that fight because he had never had to fight someone who was as tall, who was as long, who obviously learned how to defend takedowns.
And who would take him down.
And would take him down. That changes the way that you fight. Now, Pereira's going to have to potentially deal with Izzy maybe trying to take him down. But Izzy's going to now have to potentially deal with Pereira being as tall, as long, big in stature, just like him. That's something both of these guys are going to have to deal with. They're going to have to figure it out when they get in there. That could make it an interesting battle back and forth. But like you said, it could also kind of make it a little bit of a boring fight. One's afraid to do something. One's afraid to try and do something because they don't want to open each other up. Now, this is where I lay on this is kind of where I lie on this, is that with Gil and I, when we fought, we had already trained together, but we had already fought twice in our third fight. But our first 3 fights, we picked up where we left off in training. These guys, I don't know if they've ever trained together, but they fought each other twice. They know each other pretty well. Yeah. You would think that they would pick up kind of where they left off and have a great fight. You would think. But the smaller gloves really opens yourself up to get hit a lot more. So there's probably an opportunity for them to take less chances because they know the other one's a sniper. They're both snipers on the feet. We've seen both of them. Just look what Pereira did to Sean Strickland. That was nasty. And look what Izzy's done to so many guys. Just bop, bop,
look what he did to Robert Whittaker.
Yes. I mean
that the hook that he hit Robert Whittaker with in the first fight that put him down and away. I mean, stepping back, Josh, leaning back and comes. You just don't see guys having that amount of tools that they can actually use and be dangerous with. Look, when it comes to the striking, they're both outstanding, but I think the big difference is going to be time in the cage, experience in the cage. And if Pereira is trying to knock Izzy out, that's not a good way of going about this fight. Knockouts happen when you're just touching, not when you're trying.
Go to mybookie.ag, use that promo code Weighing In, and they'll give you additional spending cash with your first initial deposit.